President Trump calls New York City's socialist candidate a communist lunatic, but despite the attacks from the right, Zohran Mamdani dug his heels in even further, giving more red meat to Republicans.
Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality. And ultimately, what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country. And I look forward to work with everyone, including billionaires, to make a city that is fairer for all of them.
No billionaires?
No, I think that's insane. I mean, I just think I think fundamentally saying billionaires should not exist, but I'm also not a socialist. I mean, we're not necessarily cut from that same cloth. So I have a fundamental disagreement with that. But I do think that, and just personally, I'm from South Carolina, and I think that New Yorkers have this really unique sense of self because everybody in New York thinks that the rest of the world cares about the election that happened last Tuesday.
They do.
They see, okay, that's my point exactly. But I
me in Indiana.
But like, yeah, exactly. But I you know, when people are talking about the future of the Democratic Party, I love the fact that he focused laserly on affordability. You know, I saw some of his videos and the way he was connecting with voters.
Yeah.
But I'm also looking at Abigail Spanberger and Mikey Sherrill as being the future.
But like, it is a little bit of a headline when the biggest capitalist city in the world elects a socialist who says billionaires shouldn't exist. I mean, that is going to penetrate the
Well, he also said
American
we should,
psyche.
quote, seize the means of production. I mean, he's not just a weekend socialist. He is someone who fundamentally believes this. But to your point, this is someone who ran one of the most effective campaigns I've ever seen in New York. And he talked about issues that do matter, affordability,
Correct.
cost of housing, and he did a great job with it. I have to give him credit for that. But to your point, I mean, he beat someone who was responsible for all the problems that New York currently has, Andrew Cuomo. The problem is that his solutions only make the problems worse. They only compound it. When you talk about rent freezes, you can't build housing in a city like New York when you're talking about rent freezes. Who's investing? Who's investing their capital?
I think that's only, but just
housing?
to be clear, he's talking about rent freezes for rent
For rent
stabilized.
stabilized, which is
So
a million
units that are
units.
already rent
Which is
stabilized.
a million
Cap knows
units.
a lot about that.
I was going to say.
I was like, where's my resident expert?
I think this is somebody was
million
saying,
units.
I saw somebody point out that a lot of New Yorkers mistakenly believe that he's calling for a rent freeze
For
on
everybody.
which is not the case.
Unfortunately,
That
yeah.
might sound good, but that's not actually
That'll get you elected. Who cares?
As an expert, it is a rent freeze on 1 million units of housing, which is a large percentage. And whenever there's a rezoning, all of those units become
You're losing.
rent
Okay.
You're
All
you're losing the people watching.
Watching this from afar in Indiana, it is quite entertaining. But what I want is for all the Democrats who have demanded that Republicans repudiate and denounce another New Yorker, Donald Trump, for the past 10 years for this, that, and whatever he has said or done. I want a camera shoved in their face every time this guy says something socialist.
That is exactly what's going to happen, Neera. I mean, he's right. Democrats all over the country, Abigail Spanberger and others, are going to be asked to account for what happens.
And I honestly think people should just answer the questions. They shouldn't run and hide.
Sure.
And unlike the Republican Party, I'm sure there will be Democrats who disagree with statements that Mamdani makes. And I do give him a lot of credit for the kind of campaign he ran, but I also think people should think seriously about the fact that he talks a lot about talking to working class voters. We should all recognize that working class voters, a lot of working class voters, not all, but a lot of working class voters voted for a billionaire 3 out of the last 3 elections. And I think we have to distinguish between arguments that billionaires should pay their fair share, which I believe 100%. I think it's insane to give billionaires a tax cut at the expense of health care for working class people. But I also think we have to be a party that sounds like we want people to build wealth and be successful as well.
Also, it was a shot across the bow at turning the page because you have to turn the page on Andrew Cuomo. He should have been gone a long time ago.
All right. Coming up next, everyone, thank you very much. Up next for us, the president is pushing official fragrances on social media. Does that pass the smell test? Well, you be the judge.